Well, there's notice at the foot. And so she called the head maintenance dude and he was like, oh no, we can come in whenever we want. And she's like, that's straight up not legal. And he's like, no, it's fine. And so I gave her the building owner's number. And she called and I told her, when you call, you have to say, how would you react if this was your daughter? If this was happening to your daughter? And I guess they gave her a good response, but oh my God, I cannot imagine being in the shower and open the door and there's dude. It's so scary. It's fun. No, you're not TBL. Sorry, we have a pesky little 6-pound chihuahua.
He's protected.
He is so protected. Yes, you are so dangerous. I know, you're so dangerous. Okay, that's what we're gonna have a meeting. We're gonna have a lot of people here, so you need to fill in. Okay, thanks. That's our friend. That's her friend. Silent sheet.
I'm Brett. I'm Brett.
Brett.
You don't remember?
Thank you. I appreciate a refresher. I do remember your face, but you're right. Your name. I'm not sure we're gonna have a super well attended meeting tonight, but we're gonna try anyway.
Yeah, I haven't seen too much about it.
Ben, thanks for sending over this thing about the Normandy. I haven't looked at it yet, but I'm excited to look at it.
It's just cool pictures of a bathroom.
I love old bathrooms.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Especially like the pink tile, pink toilet situation is my personal favorite.
Yeah, someone.
Really? I'm opening the link now, so we'll see what happens. That was fun, our little field trip the other day.
Dang, I didn't really charge him.
There might be one.
Small.
No, I thought she had one sitting here, but that's a charger, but that's not the right one. Oh, the screen tiles, goodness.
Oh, the X3 one?
Oh my goodness, this is gorgeous. I told you I'd love to own a spot in this building if it weren't.
Cindy is just a wealth of information, by the way, when it comes to that historical stuff.
Great.
I kind of like to get into it a little deeper with her. Apparently, those two properties and then another property up on South Temple are all owned by the same company.
Interesting.
And they're trying to like sell them all off as one group thing for some weird reason.
Huh. Right on the side here, there should be, otherwise there's a power strip right here behind me. I'm happy to plug you in too.
But no, Katie's not on.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah, maybe you scoot to the other end of the table so we can all kind of be in picture.
I'll sit real close to you and then you can't give me.
Remember, this is all a group exercise. This is
I love being in the picture.
immunity.
Over here.
Hard enough to get me here.
Anyway, they're known to be really difficult to deal with, so nobody wants to buy the properties. They're the same owners that owned it when it was under some really bad management. And
Oh, these
kind
are
of why it's in
gorgeous.
the position that it's in now. And a lot of what we end up having is speculative real estate. People hold on to properties and don't sell them because they're waiting for the market to turn back up.
Right,
And they don't care what the damage is in the meantime.
right.
Darren,
Hello.
glad you made it.
No, not grumpy. No grumping allowed. There, that's my coat over here.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Thanks for the extra precaution.
Thank you, Gina.
And I'm fine with it.
Well, we appreciate.
You never
it.
know.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
I made agendas this time, if anybody wants to.
I see
You're
that.
the
I'm
man.
trying to be all
Really
like,
is.
real. Also, if along the way, anybody else feels as though that they're kind of more up to the event organizing and meeting planning and all of that stuff. I'm always kind of reluctant to do that kind of work.
Fair.
I also joined the HOA over at the Hollywood, which I've been putting off for like 7 years, so finally,
I know.
Cool.
So you're on the board, is it?
yeah. And that's more community work, right? Like,
I know.
you're on the board over there?
Yes,
Yeah. So you're familiar with the herding cats and all.
exactly.
Okay.
Karen, this is our sign-in sheet if you want
Oh.
to sign in.
Oh, yeah, on the sign-in sheet too, I try to put a couple of boxes at the end and anybody, I don't think we got, oh, actually, we've got to make sure that we're noticing if people are requesting to get in, and I doubt that we have anybody. Do we have attendees?
Participants, we have 3 people
Oh.
on.
Can you
We have-
admit them?
Of course I can. I'd be happy to. Central City.
We got Brandy from home and the Otter pilot. The Otter one is like the AI that like
Records.
does our voice recognition and turns it into text.
I just want to make sure if there's a chat feature, I have it up.
Yeah, there it is.
There we go.
So on here, I just put 2 boxes, one that's labeled for event and one that's for group. We had kind of a couple of things go on where we like followed a suspect around the neighborhood.
Really?
You know, like who do I contact when we need like some kind of a real immediate response or timely kind of a thing? And who would actually want to be included in that? I didn't really know. We played it out and I was very surprised that we had like 5 different people that all kind of spent 2 to 3 hours following somebody around the neighborhood. So that was really encouraging. Unfortunately, the police let him go at the end. I then ended up following him again another night, and we actually did get the police to finally confront him. They did get his ID. They also let him go. This time, like he didn't get away. They just let him go. So
What had he been doing that causes you concern?
oh, he burgled our building.
Oh,
So so let me try to stick to the agenda here. So we've got the sign-in page. That's what this the 2 boxes here are for event and group. Like, do you want to receive messages for those kinds of event-based things? And then just group, like, do you not want to get any communications from us and just come to meetings, or would you like to get group kind of context emails and things like that?
Okay, great.
How do we sign up for remote attendance via Zoom?
I just posted it in the Facebook page. So
Oh,
I've got that Facebook link that's up at the top. We haven't given it a name because it does say Central City Neighborhood Watch, but that was kind of a tentative name, so we still need to come up with a name. And that's our first item on the agenda for what we had in our last meeting, which was we need a name and a mission statement. And I think we should probably just try to pull the trigger on that. I don't know what name for a mission statement. I kind of like to enjoy a safe and healthy community.
Mm-hmm.
I'd vote for that.
Okay.
Enjoy a healthy and safe community. I think that's a great goal.
yeah, that's very good.
Well, and
It's a good mission statement, though.
Yeah.
I think to state it like to enjoy, I think is kind of implies that we will be successful.
Uh-huh. I like it.
Also, like I want to get away from the idea like that this is all a bunch of work and that we don't get to enjoy the process and actually becoming a community. And then healthy and safe, I think, could probably use some further definition in clarifying those things. I think would also give us a larger purpose or make it more understood and see the benefits of all that.
I guess we can update as we see fit,
Right.
as like things arise, but I think that definitely covers a lot of the input we've heard from community members thus far. Like, it's not targeting anyone, it's not criminalizing anyone, it's literally for us to enjoy
Right.
a healthy
safe.
and safe area, like community.
And even the word community too, like that,
Yep.
that's something that, I think we all, particularly living in a very urban city, like the sense of what community is pretty broad, I think, compared to a lot of other places in the world. The name, I don't know if we want to like make an acronym out of that or something.
Uh-huh.
EHSC, or did we want to like come up with some other kind of a name? Because I think the neighborhood watch is,
To me, it has something to do with community care. It's like the Community Care Coalition, the CCC, or
I like Community Care Coalition.
something to that effect, where it's like, as opposed to the implication that we're watching at all times, it's like, instead, we're caring at all times for all community members. You know what I mean? Like, we're really just out here giving a fuck.
Yeah, coalition, like they've got the Second and Second Coalition, that does the movie night at the church.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
GAF.
Oh, yeah, give a fuck. That's right. We like that.
We can always, there's so many things where I thought like those initials and like, we just don't tell people what the initials stand for.
Right? CCCGAF.
Kind of like
what's up?
GAF in
That's like the
parentheses at the end of
the secret, if you know, you know title. Uh-huh. Yeah, totally. I like that. Great. Does that feel good for everyone? Are we cozy with that?
Not, and it will just be like our official name that doesn't, we can always decide to change it later.
Great. I love it.
Okay.
Yes, nothing is set in stone at the moment. Okay. Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's always hard to remake t-shirts.
Are we getting comments?
Thank you for keeping this in mind. Oh, this is an AI assistant helping
Okay.
Brandy take notes. Yep, that's all we got. It's just a bot talking to us, but that's
Okay.
good.
Brandy's not there.
Brandy is remote, yeah. She's not here.
Can she hear us or
I believe so.
Should we test her?
talk?
Brandy, can you hear us?
She should be able to turn her microphone on.
And we can't hear her either, so is she really there? Or is she AI?
Right.
Yeah, she may be AI. And she may just be, we're also recording it, so we should put that on the Facebook page when we're done too.
Great.
I thought we did it last time, but maybe we didn't actually post it. I know I had the recording, so we might have to catch up on that.
All right. Well, cool enough. Good enough. We're still just figuring out what we're doing here.
So I think this is probably a good form to like always have in all of our meetings where we kind of like can recap incidents that we've had.
Great.
I'm pretty sure this is not all inclusive, and I think maybe a lot of times people haven't really thought in our community about being real diligent and following up on things, and I think that's kind of my forte and where it is like that we've caught that burglar now, because that was our first case that's in here.
The online case?
The online case was filed online. This is also one of those where we learned not to file online. If you ever need to file with the police department and it looks nice and easy, you're like, that's cool. I don't have to have an officer come out and talk to me. Don't do it, because it goes into a
Right.
rotation bin that doesn't get paid attention to.
Interesting. Good to know. That's
Yes,
great
That is
info.
good to know.
Is
Uh,
that why they let them go?
No, it's why it's difficult to always find the case.
Okay.
So anytime that you report something, it automatically always gets some sort of tracking,
Mhm.
which is our second one, which we still only have a tracking number. We still don't actually have a case. That was
Interesting.
Is that the same person?
No, it's a different person. So this was, that's why I've got the unit numbers that are on there, Hollywood A3 and B8. So A3 was one that was kind of our most egregious burglary because the guy staked out our building for a couple of hours It happened to be the one night that I did go and volunteer over at movie night.
Fuck.
So I wasn't there to kind of on a regular basis be checking the area.
No good deed goes
Right.
unpunished then.
So he went in through a window. He tried to go in through other people's windows. There were handprints and screens taken off the windows. That particular
Terrifying.
woman also was physically assaulted recently and had a hard time with the police taking care of that as well. So she's kind of, you know, she's feeling really vulnerable living in our building. She also parks in the parking garage back there, which then, you know, she's told me, you know, and Gina can testify as well that the junkies on the stairs are real uncomfortable when you go to get your car. So I've been also talking with the security over there, and anytime when I see somebody in there, notify security over at the parking garage, let them, you know, please try to keep the place a little bit
Yeah,
more secure.
I've done that too, that number that you gave me.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I've actually seen the security over there recently where I've never seen them before.
Yeah, I think they have always
Good.
patrolled, I think on like a 2-hour rotation.
Oh, good.
It's just whether or not they actually kick people out when they're on that patrol.
Interesting. Right. It turns out you have to do something
And
about it.
and even the word kick out, I don't necessarily always like, because to me, it's like, just communicate with who's there, see if they're up to no good or not. You know, like I've kind of been accosted just for like taking a shortcut through the parking garage. And I'm
Uh-huh.
like, I live at the Hollywood, and I guess that's code word for like, it's okay to not harass me. So kind of interesting that it goes both ways, like where they're like too aggressive and then not aggressive enough at other times. So.
Interesting.
But yeah, that first case where he broke in, you know, we then saw him a few other times on the cameras. The time when we had our whole group, 5 of us following him around, I just happened to see him out on the sidewalk, and so we started following him. Thank you, everybody that participated in that.
Of course.
Then a few days later, then I ended up seeing him. It was like 1:30 at night, and I followed him. The police finally caught up. Well, we were right next to the new precinct, which I got a tour of, and they're offering tours if you'd like to see the new precinct over on
First off, on like West
Third.
Temple.
no, what's the street with Pretty Bird on it? The little
Oh,
half street.
it's on
Regent Street.
Edison.
Regent. Yeah, that's
So
right.
it's first
Yeah, I was
south and
gonna say
Regent Street.
Edison too.
So it's like an office building. You would never know there's a police precinct there. It's right on the ground.
Interesting.
But
So,
They said it was not open yet. Is that
right, it's not open, but I got a tour. I know the right people.
You are. the
Although
right
that
people.
kind of leeway doesn't seem to be getting me enough
Juice or?
juice
What's
lately.
that address
In the neighborhood.
gonna be?
It's on the corner of Regent Street and First South,
Yeah, that's right.
which is nice because that means, you know, when the police, you know, start their shift, they're starting it in our neighborhood.
So that means that, that coffee place right next to it should be a donut shop now.
Right.
Then we'd have them here all the time, right?
Right.
Also, I've got stories about coffee with a cop, but we'll go into that at a different time. It's not on the agenda.
We can make exceptions though.
Right.
So they let him go. I was given a hard time because I was being disrespectful, because when they let him go, I said, "You've got to be kidding," which was an indication that I didn't believe that they were doing their jobs properly.
Mhm.
So I kind of got put in my place a little bit. I followed up with the shift supervisor, who seemed to believe that I was well within my rights to expect them to
Do
something.
arrest him.
Yes.
He kind of agreed with me, so maybe there will be some follow-up there, but you know, we're really left out of the communication loop on that kind of thing. They did positively identify him with the exact same identifiers that we had from the original case that we had brought up on another case where he was also identified. So it links those two cases together. It makes him now an arrestable suspect for sure. So if we run into him again, and we can actually follow him again, and we can actually get the police there at the same time, then he should actually be arrested. One of those things that really bothers me about that too is just the fact that you know, we had some pretty expensive stuff that was stolen at that time. We had some, you know, they of course tried to use the credit cards that they stole later on, and you know, as much as I really like to prosecute the people that are committing crimes, what I would also really, really like to understand are, you know, the organizations that are running behind these crime groups, like how it is that they're fencing items and where is it they're taking those, because I don't think that this is an individual just kind of working by himself and selling stuff on eBay. But I could be wrong, but also like getting back stolen property is usually seen by the police as kind of something that's impossible to do.
Mhm.
And I have recovered my own stolen property many, many times. And so I know that it is possible. Of course, a lot of that has to do with the fact that I put trackers on a lot of things too, but you know.
Well, in insurance, they should probably have their stuff is already covered by insurance, but still. it's-
Again,
yes,
yeah.
It's the violation that. we have.
Exactly.
We're
Yeah.
trying to-
Totally.
Yeah, that idea, you know, even with stores that are like that are like, you know, we have insurance, even when you got credit card fraud and my credit card company's like, oh, no problem, we'll take those charges off your card. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make it okay.
Right.
I think everybody shares that.
Yeah, yeah.
So the other one that we have after that was another stolen bike. That was one where they took bolt cutters and cut the fencing that we have on our second story, like fire escape area.
Uh-huh.
And then used the bolt cutters, I think, to cut a chain or a lock that was on the bike. And then they lifted the bike off using a shopping cart as a platform to stand on. Again, the whole process of them doing this took a couple of hours. It was, you know, when you see like bikes very often being a theft of opportunity, right? Like somebody sees that unlocked bike sitting there and it's like, it's so easy. Like these were not thefts of opportunity. These were like, the only reason people don't get caught is because we as citizens are dumber than the stupidest criminals.
Dang
True.
Anyway, we've got a great video of them. It was a couple of people, more one person actually doing the work and the other guy being a lookout. We tried to get that video from the club. We did get a still that looked like it might have been, but also we didn't get like any real deep looks into the video on it. On both of these, we really tried to see if we could coordinate with other people in our neighborhood to get like camera footage so we could kind of like track where they went.
Yeah.
You know, we even got like police evidence uploads from the police department to send to 7-Eleven, 7-Eleven corporate, 7-Eleven, the local owner. The local owner like got the camera because of being coordinated with the city with Tim Cosgrove. Tim Cosgrove put me in contact with him, but he doesn't respond to anything. So while the city goes and like helps, you know, business owners in order to be able to do the things that they need to do to reduce crime, when it comes to the neighbors asking for help to reduce crime, it hasn't.
We haven't had a great response.
No response at all
From the 7-Eleven.
for the 7. Now the 7-Eleven, you know, I really want to help them. Like, you know, we do a lot of the garbage cleanup and sometimes I kind of go down that side. There have been a couple of times when I clean up over at 7-Eleven, but like, man, if I got some cooperation and like they felt like part of the neighborhood, I would clean up there every single day.
Right.
You know, there's a security guard now that
Yeah.
patrols
For the
The
Lorna
east side
Doone
of the
properties,
street.
yeah,
yeah,
Interesting.
for the 3 buildings,
right.
day and night. And I think it's really helped that side of the street. It's made no difference at all on the west side of the street.
Interesting.
Now, they do come somewhere around
They do
3 in the
patrol.
morning.
Yeah.
And they are there for like 45 minutes to an hour. What they're doing, I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure about
But
that.
where my apartment is, if I wake up and being an older gentleman need to use the restroom,
I thought.
then, okay, well, maybe I'll have a couple drags of a cigarette before I go. I can hear his car idling because they always park in the same spot in the back there.
Interesting.
So I'm right in the breezeway that separates Falling Downs from the embassy,
Mhm.
and I can hear their car idling, and it's there for quite a while. Because sometimes I have problems falling asleep that late at night, but you know.
Well, I'm just
Anyway.
glad that, to
The
see.
thing is that nothing changed.
Really.
I get up, you know, and early, I gotta go to physical therapy, you know, and things like that, and if it's raining or snowing and the people hanging out in the rear of the building by the doors there. And it's like, I can't get a hold of Diane to bring that up. The security guy's long gone by, 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, and I don't know what to do, and so
What building do you live in?
I live in the embassy.
Is that on the west side of?
Yes,
So just one building down from you, there's the Downing,
Pauline.
Pauline Downs, Embassy Arms, and then Pauline's right on the corner.
Right, right.
So,
So there is a security associated with the embassy?
apparently,
Yeah.
no, see that, it's all owned and operated by the same people.
Right,
Those
those
four
three,
buildings.
yeah.
and it's northern.
So
security.
when he
They come
parks
by with a
there,
patrol car.
I think what he does is he makes his rounds and he checks the doors to make sure they're all closed.
Hmm.
And as long as they're closed and locked during the duration of time that he's there, everything's fine.
Hmm.
It's just,
He's only there briefly,
Right.
exact, and at that time in the morning.
yeah.
So they stay away from there at that time in the morning. And then they know roughly about the time he's leaving. And if anything, all you gotta do is just pop your head back in the back there and look around the corner.
Yeah,
And if his car's there, he's there. Cause like I said, he's there for quite a while.
Hmm.
But it's not like all night long.
Yeah.
Just like that guy, that security, it's the same security company, Northern Utah Protection or whatever it is. I mean, he's 2-3 hours standing out there on the street.
on the east side.
Yeah, on the east side.
Yeah, he says they're there 24 hours a day too, for 2 of the buildings.
Hmm.
But the one guy in the daytime is just there for a certain period of time. He seems like a nice guy. Everybody talks to him, seems, and maybe it's just they're paying for him to be there. So that has brought down the problems in the area.
Hmm.
I don't know. I've never talked to him or anything like that.
Yeah, I've talked with him a couple of times. And he was just doing 8 hours a day for just him. And then he said that they were gonna extend the hours later. And he also said that they were also trying to get a more extensive contract for across the street as well.
Yes. Which I think would help.
Sure. But also those security companies, I think that there's, again, kind of similar to like what we have with the police where they're not really members of our community, so they're not really invested a whole lot. Like if they see something going on, they'll tell them to stop and go away. But they'll very rarely like engage with people, start to know who's who and understand the real intricacies of our neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And there's probably a turnover and
Yeah.
new people and,
Yeah, even trying to like cover 24 hours a day, you're like, that's 3 different people.
at least.
That gets you
yeah.
5 days a week, so now,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of labor in order to like cover around the clock and
Totally.
to expect every single person that shows up to be like on the same page as everybody else is, it's near impossible.
So,
Can we, I'm sorry, really quick.
Go ahead.
Can we invite those people to our meeting?
I have. The one guy, like I said, he's nice, he's kind of personable, like gets along
Yes.
with the other people on the street and stuff like that. But he's kind of the attitude that like everybody's a drug dealer and he doesn't really want to.
Get too involved.
He doesn't want to even consider the idea that things could get fixed.
Hmm.
That's
that's not the attitude.
Yeah,
yeah, but that's also kind of job security for people like that too.
Yeah, I get
It's
it.
one of these things, even like any of our institutional government spending and things like that, where you're like things that are there to solve a problem at a certain point with past that threshold where now it's in their best interest to keep that problem going so that they can keep that institution running and keep on making money.
Yeah. It's true.
Sorry to get to.
These case numbers on the 3 on the bottom, where they have, is this a year on the first 4 digits?
Yeah, so the
Okay.
one that 2000, we'll keep going down. So then we had another A3 one. This was a hit.
that same woman.
Yep, same guy. So this is a couple that's an A3. The young woman that I said is scared, didn't actually get broken into, that her windows were just messed up. So yeah, this is a couple, their car got backed into, and we've got it on video, and we didn't get a license plate on the video just because of the distance that the camera has to go to see out in the parking lot. But then we ended up seeing the car parked right out front here.
And you called the cops and the cops said.
I did. They
there's
said
no
that they
way-
said that it couldn't have been the same car. How would we know you didn't get the license plate originally? It's not as though the license plate left an imprint on the car that it hit. And you were like, he's got flaming blue skulls on the window tint.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it's the same car.
Wow, what a fun.
He did,
thing. Oh, that's 2024. Okay, so that's the third one down. Okay.
he did get rid of his gigantic American flags that he had in the bed when he hit the car.
Hmm.
So maybe he thought that was a little too loud to be recognized for the accident.
And the cops just blew you off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Basically.
To be fair, it's possible that when the cops got here, he had already left. I ended up getting distracted by other criminal activities, but I didn't notice.
I hate to laugh, but that's really how it goes.
The 2019 one is a package burglar that we had. D7, the gentleman that was the victim of that one no longer lives in the building. He had hidden his condo key in the mailbox and hid his mailbox key in the building so that he could have somebody come by and get his mail for him while he was out of town. The person that did that was a woman who comes in and steals packages on the regular. You're familiar with her pictures
Yeah.
up in the Hollywood?
And we probably had her visit our.
Anyway, I was able to contact Michael that lived in D7. I've got the original crime report, which means we actually got her name. And then we were able to understand that she's been put in jail. However, not for any of the burglaries that she's committed here. She did about 2 years previously for when she broke into his place. She drained his retirement account because she had access to his mail while he was there. So it ended up being a pretty significant crime.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She's also my unprofessional diagnosis. She suffers from multiple personality disorder, and every time you run into her, it's hard to actually reconcile that she's the same person that you saw before because her personality would be so different. Like her clothes are so different. There's sometimes where she seems like a very well-educated businesswoman. Other times when it seems like she's just another one of these people off the street who's like very mentally ill and has some drug problems. The one common thing, she usually tends to bring wine with her.
Hmm.
She used to camp under our stairs and drink food that she had, gotten out of people's drink and eat crackers, basically. Which is why we now have our package closet locked up.
And
So
what's-
she's stolen packages in our place for literally like 5 years.
Hmm.
We have pictures of a woman stealing packages from our lobby.
Very well.
I wonder if it's.
We can share evidence and shit.
Like she's from FedEx or something.
Yeah,
I need
that's
to
another
get
one,
her
says.
package. Can you let me in? I'm just gotta deliver this package and she has like the FedEx bag
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and
it's so great.
you're
Or the
like,
bottle of
"Oh,
wine,
yeah,
like, I'm here
sure."
to see my friend, I brought the bottle of wine, and like,
You see the bottle
and it
of wine,
seems
but
legit.
packages,
and she just comes in right behind somebody else, and you're like, and she looks for those opportunities when like, it's a crowded time of the day, you got people coming in and out, and it's like, oh, just one more person kind of slipping through. You get people, they just don't even see her.
Oh.
It's amazing.
Man, I learned a really good technique when I was living at the rubber company and people would try and follow me into the building. Honestly, you just turn around and hold your arm out like this. You don't have to touch him. You don't have to hit him. You don't have to, but if you hold your arm out like this and take one step forward, normally people will be like, okay, see ya. Like they don't really expect, especially maybe like a skinny white bitch like myself or whatever, to turn around and be like, excuse me, like, you don't belong in here or whatever. Like most times they'll run. Some people are more aggressive, but
And these are the things that we need to learn over time living downtown too.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's just
just don't let
like how to
people in.
put
You don't know.
somebody off is not the kind of like social skill you got to pick up in the country.
No.
We all have experiences with these kind of things.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that through this community care coalition that we can share information from building to building and possibly put an actual end to problems
Right.
together because we are greater informed, which I love.
So the last one that we have on here, and yeah, by the dates, that one was 2019. So now we've got 2023. This was Brandy last year. Part of the reason that she's not here tonight is because she's kind of fallen apart because of the justice system has failed her. She was the victim of an assault down in Telfer Park. There was a homeless woman who was maybe have instigated or not, but she was being beat by 3 young men, 2 twins that were celebrating their 21st birthday, and another guy, and they were beating her up because she was apparently using the N-word in a misappropriated way. So Brandy tried to step in because she was there walking a dog. Or actually, I think the problem was the homeless woman had a dog who was also getting beaten. Brandy just can't handle a dog being.
Yeah.
Who of us can?
Exactly.
So she stepped in, Brandy also open carries.
She
So,
does.
so she
Yeah.
feels very, protected and safe and able to do those kinds of things. She got knocked to the ground, like basically body checked, cracked a couple of ribs, and she did pull her gun and chambered around and was ready to shoot the guy. But the police showed up just at the right time because of an eyewitness who also was in the building right next to there and was perfectly willing to be an eyewitness to everything. But of course, that didn't get entered into any of the evidence for some mysterious reason. Anyway, I went to court with her on Monday. We tried to speak with the district attorney and try to figure out what was going on, what to expect. We got no communication. Finally, at the very end, they did a plea in abeyance. They dropped all charges except for him evading the police. So he has to pay a $30 restitution. And Brandy's name had been screened from the case because the DA felt that it was not something that they would be able to prosecute. It was all very confusing. The homeless woman, of course, was not there to testify as a victim. So that one was obviously scrubbed from it. But, Brandy was always trying throughout the entire process to be a victim, to be a witness. Also, just the term that the police use, like, are you sure you want to be a victim? Seems like a very strange way to phrase, like, are you sure you actually want the person to be punished? And Brandy was always very adamant that, yes, she wanted to be a victim, that she wanted to testify.
Sure.
So her being removed as a victim from the case was heartbreaking.
Yeah, tragedy. And I think in addition to going over these incident updates, I think it's important that we as a group maybe discuss or go over. I think a lot is revealed in what we've just all talked about, in that the 5 of these cases we've got right here have really had no real resolve.
Yeah.
Which indicates to me that within our whole coalition we've got going on here, that we really need to start coming up with some strategy or tactic that we can implement when shit starts going down in our neighborhood, such that we could provide some support to one another when these items start going down, and really in these meetings discussing best practices moving forward if we are feeling like we can't really get on the radar of the police to really actually do anything about this.
Well, and that's one thing that I don't want to paint such a negative picture. I mean, this whole thing that happened with Brandy is like the biggest downer that I've experienced in trying to do any of this stuff. But the thing is that on these other things with the diligence that we've had, like we have had like some corrective adjustments made with the police department because of, the very obvious oversights and problems that they've had with not giving us attention when we're asking for it and not helping us to help them. So there are adjustments that are being made and it is getting better, and it is going to take years for it to get anywhere close to what I would consider right. But my point is that if we're diligent and persistent, there is a lot of success to be had there.
Strong agree. And I love what you said about not putting a case, I'm sorry, not filing for a case file on the internet to actually have an officer physically come here. I am also really into the field trip idea where if you see a problem area, like you and I did recently, and we'll go into that, I guess, but Ben and I recently received an email, Ben had received an email from a person up closer to Fourth East, but still on First South, who had been experiencing drama in her area. And so all Ben and I did was went and took a walk up the street and just poked around, just kind of like digged around and looked at kind of where the hidey holes are, where the problem areas are, kind of get familiar with that zone. And I thought that that was helpful because it provides us context for if the shit hits the fan later down the way, we could quickly and adequately go as a team, like we did, to go find
Yeah.
this perpetrator who had gotten into the building and to the Hollywood or whatever. I think it's good to do kind of that boots on the ground active work where like we all team up and show up in those moments. And I don't know if that becomes like a, what do you call it? Like a call chain?
Mhm.
Where it's like, hey, anyone
should
who's
have like a
around,
like a group text.
right,
Yeah.
like
Well,
anyone
and-
who's around, we're gonna do a field trip up here.
Here, Gina,
I don't
so
either.
one of the things was
Okay.
event in group to indicate whether or not you want to be, you
Okay.
know, like,
But I'm not on Facebook.
you don't have to be.
Okay. What's
Um,
the phone number?
yeah, phone number and email address, basically the emails for if you want to get like general information emails, whereas like the text messages are more for something's going down right now.
We should have a group text for.
Right. Well, the problem that we had before, and this is what, you know, Brandy's been really engaging with the community and like she kind of helped me to get things going on up here. And one of the problems that we have is like she comes up here to this thing, gets everybody's email and phone numbers, and then she starts doing her thing. And some of the people around here are kind of like, I don't want to get
It's too
bombarded
much.
with
Too
this stuff,
much.
right?
Yeah.
So we just need to just acknowledge that not everybody wants to communicate on the same level.
I think opting into a call chain or a group chat like that, especially for those of us who truly are like right here in the neighborhood, though, provides us an opportunity to do some of these like family field trips, family kick out, if we need to do a kick out, which is not always the right tactic,
Right.
right? But at times I feel like that is actually, we have
Right.
solidarity in numbers,
And
we are
sometimes
more
it's
powerful
necessary,
and we all stand
know.
together.
It's just like, I don't want to have the police come by and like harass every individual on the street, but every now and then, you know, you need the threat of a police officer. You know, I don't like the fact that police officers are violent, but sometimes you need the threat of violence in order to get
There's
compliance.
something to be said too, even with the 5 of us the other day where we had a suspect running around. I think
Yeah, I
the
feel like
tone on
we
the
were
street.
way
changed a little
more
bit.
threatening than any police officer would be.
Okay, but also like, I think the more people we have on the corners, the less each individual becomes a target, the
Yeah.
more it becomes the culture of health and safety.
So one of those things like
In
the
this
whole
neighborhood?
field trip that I'd like to do is just every now and then, let's just be like,
Let's go on a walk.
some afternoon, let's get 10 people together and go clean up trash. Because if you got 10 people cleaning up trash, you can be short work. And if you've got 10 people in a group that are going and cleaning up trash, that's a statement.
For sure. It's like, yo, we're right here. We give a fuck. We're doing the
Exactly.
thing. We have a presence. Like, keep your eye out for us. Also, like, if you need help,
Yeah.
it's not as though we're not down to help you too. Like, this isn't like a by invitation only type situation. It's like, yo, we're just people within the community who care.
And as I'm cleaning up trash, I gotta say 50% of the people that are out there on the street are totally pleased that somebody's picking up the trash.
1000%. 1000%.
It's like people don't want to live like that. You look at that and you're just like, oh, that's just those kind of people. That's the way they are. And you're like,
I think it's an act of care that shows, it really does, it shows care in that moment of like, we really do want to make a difference, no matter how small, we're still trying.
well, and it's you got so many people that can't care for themselves
Right,
and they can't even understand how another person could care about them. But if you care about the space that they're in, they can kind of begin to understand.
right, right. I think too, it offers up an invitation of like, look, nobody gave me permission to get out here and pick
Yeah.
up trash.
Yeah, that's the thing too. I
We
just gotta
chose it.
explain to people like, I'm not getting paid for this. Like,
No.
I just care about my neighborhood.
Yeah, that's
That's a
right.
very foreign concept to a lot of the people.
Yeah, but I think there's like an opportunity for a breakthrough moment there too, of like, you also don't need permission to care about
Yep.
the place you live in.
So often I get people that are like, you've really inspired me. I'm gonna start cleaning up. And a lot of times they don't. I get that. It's just lip service, but a lot of times they do. Like the other night, somebody had just hung a bag, a Smith's bag on the fence out here
Mhm.
with a bunch of garbage in it. It's like, yeah, I really wish you could have taken that to the dumpster, but damn it, somebody was trying.
Right, you gave
You
a
know?
fuck.
We need a trash can along between this whole freaking block.
Yeah, that's the problem too. We get these things like you can't have a park bench because that means somebody will sleep on it. You can't have a trash
So
can
what?
because that way people will fish through it and throw garbage all over the place. And yeah, that's where
But where
You
you
also
gonna
can't
pick up,
leave
where's the
trash
part of
cans
your
thrown out.
house if you don't wanna go down an alley to a dumpster?
I agree.
1000%.
And I really would like to get some trash cans here, and we really can't.
Interesting. I wonder if
but
we need to
With
contact
trash
with the
cans comes
city.
responsibility. That means that we have to empty those. trash
We don't have to, there should be like city or something.
Well, I will. I'm just,
Well, you
I'm
don't have
just
to, you
saying,
don't
I
have
can't,
to.
I can't at this point in time, given all of the problems that we've seen,
No.
expect
Not
the
your-
city to provide
That's
anything.
fair. Yeah, that's
Well,
fair.
I would
That's
like
fair.
to ask, and where I can get it, I'll be grateful.
Is a suggestion, Tim was here
Yeah,
last week. Should we invite him to ongoing meetings to kind of represent the city?
Yes, and the thing too is if we can come up with very specific action items like trash cans, like that seems to be like a doable thing that could
I'm
happen.
gonna write myself a note to email Tim Cosgrove about the freaking trash cans.
Okay.
Because,
But yeah, just following up with Tim to like follow up with the 7-Eleven owner, and I feel like, hey, Tim, would you please do something that is gonna be completely unproductive?
trash cans aren't unproductive.
No, that's what I mean. The trash cans are something that like
Handful.
I see him sinking his teeth into because that's actually doable.
I know.
The corporation there that has one whole block this way and one whole block that way without a trash can and about 1 million.
Yeah,
people.
Tim's also who we need to talk to about whether or not they should allow.
And then, of course, you can't walk and put anything in their dumpster either,
Right,
but they don't have any trash cans
right.
on 2 blocks.
That seems unacceptable.
Well,
Yeah, it is.
and would there be a representative from the police that we could invite to?
Yeah,
these?
we have Marie Stewart, who's our community liaison. And I've got her phone number, and we communicate by email, and we can invite her to these meetings. She's gone to some of the community council meetings. She was there remote on Zoom last night. And that's kind of one of these items down here when we've got our acronyms and contact stuff, so.
Sorry to sway us away from this. With
Oh,
my comments.
No, you're fine.
And do you all think that would be a good idea to invite some of
Oh, the
these?
whole
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I think so.
And we have, and we will, we'll continue to do that.
Okay,
I mean, obviously cops are not my favorite people, just given like historically what they're about and the product that we get as a result of them being here or whatever, like. It's not my favorite. However, if we could actually have a cop in here who, like us, gave a fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and,
That would be definitely, I would invite that for sure. I'd welcome it.
and maybe help understanding in both ways.
I
So,
think
Right.
the donut
Yeah, I'm
shop
happy
was a great idea.
Right. Yeah.
Right there, it's
Yeah. All their cars would be around here. That's-
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, well, I would welcome it. I'm not opposed to it.
So on the subject of Brandy, if anybody knows anybody that has some better legal understanding on victims' rights and things like that, from what I've looked at, I see that she has 20 days from last Monday to respond that her victim rights were violated by the state. Then she'll also need to file a civil suit against the guy that attacked her. I don't think she has the financial means to be able to cover a lawyer. If anybody knows any lawyers that can do pro bono work. No, it would be a civil suit.
Okay.
Yeah, the public defender is the one that cooperated with the DA. Actually, we had the DA and the public defender standing right in front of us. Oddly enough, they are supposed to be in opposition to each other, and they both robotically explained to us how she had been screened by an attorney from the screening department, and she was not a victim on the case.
Did she she went to the hospital stuff and had a hospital like?
No, she did not go to the hospital.
Oh. So. there's no record
Further
of
lessons
injury?
learned.
Again, she doesn't, she wasn't insured at the time. She could get reimbursed if she went, then the. victim services, because she couldn't, breathe and.
Kid
Ribs
parents.
See,
hurt.
that kind of stuff that's recorded.
These are things too that, in hindsight, that's why I was trying to tell her, like, if she wants to pursue this, there are things we've got to do in order to like create evidence,
So don't
establish the injuries and things like that, even though we've got an eyewitness that saw her get body checked across the street, it's.
create a paper trail is what I'm hearing, is like,
Well, and
have
this
a
is the thing
cop
too,
actually come.
when I
go
had
to
the
the
police getting
hospital after.
aggressive with me, Brandy gave me a hard time because I didn't get their badge numbers. And I'm like, man, once a cop starts like telling me I'm not being respectful to him, like my instincts are like head down, get out of there as quickly as you can.
Yes, sir.
1000%.
I just like, it's hard. Like, there's all these things you should do. Brandy knew she should go to the doctor, but it's and probably this will be a no big deal. And, I'm sure he's going to get convicted anyway. Like, obviously we got Wywood, like it's in a bag.
The one time I called cops about stuff going on back here, the cops just explained to me, it's life choices people make and they're free to do so.
Right. And in a lot of cases, they've got a point.
Right.
This is a free country. People can do what they want. It's not until like certain rules are broken that they can be stopped. But also then you've got that notion of like what neighborhood watch is, if we got the signs and all of that you report all suspicious activity.
Yeah, and and littering is a crime.
It
right?
is. It is. I've always thought maybe we would probably get a lot more prosecutorial power if we were to just fine people for littering.
But
You know that,
there's a lack of manpower in the police too.
Absolutely. And it's the same problem that they have with the DA. My problem is that they say that they have a lack of manpower, and then you're just like, man, when you were given a slam dunk, you guys threw it away. Now,
Right.
just to also put more into context here and maybe what it is, I have no idea whether or not there's any kind of foul play or coercion that's happening from other places, because I found out that the mother of the twins is a police officer in Utah Valley. Earlier this year, she had a Supreme Court case for her suing the city of Provo for not having equal pay for being a woman. It was a gender inequality lawsuit. And so the Utah Supreme Court kicked that back. So she won. Probably feels like she's a little bit of an influencer when it comes to the DA. And I don't even think she would have to be coercive or make threats or anything. I think they would just be like, oh, that's his mom. How about we just let this one go?
Could be.
Boring. So fucking boring. Yawn.
Right.
And not you.
Also-
just that tail.
Also, just this whole thing of like, when I'm talking with like Officer Stewart, our community liaison, a women police officer going through the ranks, just like this other police officer, she went through the ranks, she was, treated unfairly. Detective Stewart's pretty confident that they do not do that kind of unequal pay in Salt Lake County, but at the same time, I think she's probably got to admire another woman who like took it to the system and won, and I admire her as well. I think that's awesome. And the fact that she's got kids who did something real stupid on their 21st birthday and got too wasted and started beating people up. I kind of feel like if we could just have a conversation, that she would gladly admit that she thinks that they should be accountable for that.
Yeah.
Straight up.
And that could have turned out so much worse with an armed
Yes.
person.
That was, Brandy's kind of point was like, the one reservation, if you're going to carry a firearm, is that you don't ever want to have to use it.
Straight
No,
up.
you don't.
But if you pull it, you gotta be willing to. use
Right.
it.
And if she would have killed him, like she would have had to live with that. I mean, he would have
Yeah.
paid the ultimate consequence, but yeah, it could have been worse.
It could have been a hell of a lot worse.
I think there's another side to that story too, which is that if she had not pulled her weapon and the cops had not pulled up at that moment and they'd already body checked her and thrown her to the ground while they're harassing an unsheltered woman, her fate could have been
That would have been
different
anyone.
too.
That would have been any Wednesday.
Yeah, it's gnarly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gnarly. That's scary.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we get like enough random screams around here just because that's what people do. you get to the point where you don't even pay attention when somebody screams like they're being attacked.
Is that Austin?
Carry a whistle.
That looks
around
like
or
Austin.
anything?
Hi,
Hey.
Austin, welcome.
Make it in person, so I'm tagging along online.
Yeah, that's great. We love it.
Anyway,
Well,
if there's anything that anybody can conjure up through their community and to help out Brandy, I would really appreciate it.
Great. I will look into it. I do have some lawyer contacts, so I'll see what I can do with that.
Also, any moral support, if anybody wants to reach out with her, she, I think she's made her contact information pretty available, but if
Yes.
hasn't, I will gladly give it to you. She would love
Great.
to hear from anybody that wants to talk to her, so.
and there are a lot of law firms that would take a case like that on a contingency, I would think.
I would think too, but the problem that we're having right now is that Brandy, it can almost be like incapacitated because she's so,
Yeah. freaked out.
Traumatized.
yeah, traumatized.
Yeah.
Traumatized. Again, it's like she was victimized by the assault,
She's victimized,
then she was
yeah.
victimized by the DA.
Right, right.
Sucks.
I have issues with this DA. This is not the first issue I have.
So Austin, our next agenda item is the Central City Community Council.
This is the thing that happens on Wednesdays, and is it every Wednesday or is it a certain Wednesday of the month?
So it's the second Wednesday of every month, is that right?
Yeah, neighborhood council meeting. It's the first, I think it's the first Wednesday of every month.
Did he say the first?
First,
one?
yeah.
Okay. And that's at the library down on Fourth South.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Austin.
They're much more organized than we are here. And
We'll get there.
definitely can help everybody, connect with the larger Central City community,
Great.
which is, I think we're a little bit more focused here. And they're
On a block, basically.
right.
2 blocks.
I'm great
Um,
at being tested at city council meetings. I can't wait to show up finally after months of being invited. Sorry for cutting you off. What were you gonna say?
Is this meeting the first Thursday of every month?
No, this is the second Thursday.
Second Thursday.
It's just that Thursday came real early in the month, so it didn't seem like it. But yeah, we're always the second Thursday.
Not back to back Wednesday, Thursday.
Right.
Okay, that's good. Because that's a
Um,
little much for a lot of people.
And is there like an organization? Are you the head of this
No,
group?
we are completely unfounded and unorganized at this point. This is you get what you see right here. But we have, this is our third meeting, yes.
And you.
We- and we-
Our fourth.
So.
I think it's our third.
Okay, sure.
Anyway, and we have no opposition to being like formally organized or anything like that. I think Brandy at one point, was planning on doing like a Central City Neighborhood Watch, nonprofit, so we could take organizations, but I know that never really happened. The Central City Neighborhood Council did just recently become a nonprofit again. I guess they had over the years changed the organization, so it wasn't a nonprofit, now is a nonprofit again. So if you need to make any kind of charitable contributions over there, now you can do that and get your tax write-offs.
CCC is not an official group yet. We are grassroots, but CCNC is
Right.
much more put together.
Yes.
That's a real thing.
Right.
Well, shouldn't we be more organized
Yeah.
and
We're
have
trying.
Yeah,
agendas?
we
and-
just got a
invite
name tonight,
people.
so that's
That's true.
right. That's
Third meeting.
you see the thing. That's where we're working towards.
Although it just occurred to me that Central City Community Council is
Oh,
CCNC.
no, it's C as well.
It's all Cs, which
Yeah.
means maybe we should reconsider.
Yeah.
Community
Central
care
But you
City-
can bring
coalition.
that up in new business in the next meeting.
Okay, great.
I
Fabulous.
feel, I feel
love
like
it.
we got something nailed down and that's. an
Fair.
achievement. Don't-
I agree. No, I don't mean to
Don't get out
derail.
your
You're right.
nail
I agree.
remover quite yet.
Okay, great. I love
I
it.
think that, I really like that idea of getting together and going on a walk and picking up trash and stuff. I even have the same bucket and little thingy, we have one of those.
Heck,
things.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like I probably should place a bulk order.
That's where we're at.
Whatever.
We made it.
Yeah,
I've given a lot of them
from
away over the years.
nonprofit.
Well, yeah, yeah, until we get nonprofit status, I'll just have to take the hit.
Yeah, and then, I mean, maybe we should have some colors or something like a gang.
Dang.
No, I was thinking of,
Dang, Gina, you said.
no, I was thinking like a vest, like vest or something, but I mean, I guess we don't need to do that, but, maybe bandanas and tattoos, no, just kidding.
I'm down
I
for all
found
of
that
the
you're
above.
pretty recognizable on the street if you're not carrying.
If you're cleaning shit up.
Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
cleaning shit up and you're not
Yeah.
smoking tinfoil, then that means you're pretty much
So I say that we should, plan a day and a time for like an hour on a
Yeah,
weekend.
I like that. Look, like that one we had behind the Bacardi too, where it's like, it's funny how like you can spend years just going around one block and you never like go across the street to see what's behind those other buildings.
Right.
True.
Right, we had that when the guy got away the first time when we all tracked him, he went through the Bacardi. And it was like, yeah, he's cornered. And it was like, oh no, there's like an easy way to get out the fence there. But, you know, there was a way to go here and there. And then when I went back there, I was like, whoa, there's this whole world I've never seen.
Reconnaissance mission.
So, right, well, we went over to Forest.
Disguised by trash pickup.
Right, I really like to even not for a trash pick, but just go on a field trip and check stuff out.
Yeah.
And I'm like now totally in love with the Chateau Normandy
Yeah.
and like
Me
want to
too.
rescue it from
Me too.
being demolished.
Me too.
Yeah,
So cool.
FFT.
There you go.
There she is.
Yeah.
I love it. Are we okay from those of us who are here tonight to start a group thread in case of trouble or to organize
Well, I
field trip?
noticed that nobody really checked theirs.
Yeah, that was, I had these boxes here, so I'll just ask everybody to reconsider if they would like, if there's an event, if they want, you can always just ignore the message. I just also don't want to like pester anybody, and also keep in mind that
Yeah,
there was one time where we actually like tracked the suspect. This isn't like every day I'm going like, hey, come and help me find criminals. You know,
no, we're
like,
new at this too.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
the,
just starting.
the analogy I came up with before is we need a bat signal. This is the closest
Straight
thing
up.
I've been able to find.
Yeah. I already got it. Yeah, I put it all on there too, because, I just put them down for the emails, not the alerts.
I forgot what I was gonna say. It's fine.
Should we finish here and then we can kind of just.
Yeah, do it.
free-for-all?
Yeah, go
Okay.
for it.
The police department, I showed Barbara here how to use the SLC mobile app. Does everybody have the SLC mobile app installed on their phone?
Yes.
You-
I'm probably not gonna.
You should do
I
it.
hate to say.
You should do it. It is not a bad app. It won't bother you to like act, you know, like a lot of apps try to encourage you to use them. It does none of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's-
just
it's very-
passive.
But what it does is like,
They probably know where we are all the time though, with it on our phone.
no, it only
I'm
gives the
kidding.
GPS location when you
Are
submit.
engaged in the app.
And it shows you on the map. So that way, you know, you can pinpoint where that exact problem was. And what I use it for more than anything isn't to get them to take action, but for them to be aware of the problem. So in the case of like, I picked up human poop this morning behind the dumpster. I let them know, I take a picture, they get a GPS location, and
There
we
is
get to
some-
joke about how I send them pictures of poop all the time.
So, you know, many mornings there are needles out by
Yes.
our garage door. Do you take pictures of stuff like
Yes,
that?
I take pictures and I put them in a sharps container. I also pass out sharps containers if you're not familiar with the Narcan clinic that they've got up there,
Fourth east,
next to
fifth
Fifth,
east.
right past Fifth, there's right, not the one on the corner, but the one right next to that. It's a university labs. They have a bunch of university stuff there. It's just kind of general offices on the top floor, I think it is. But
That's
you can also
also
see it on the directory. They've got the Utah something or other Narcan
Naloxone.
or naloxone.
Utah naloxone.
Okay, and they'll give you whatever you want. Like if you want it, they've got little portable sharps containers. They've got like larger sharps, you know, I've got like the dumpster size sharps container. And I put all the sharps in there. And it's not even also, you know, it's just for any kind of hazardous pointy stuff that you
Yeah.
might find out there too. Any kind of biohazard stuff. So yeah, it's good to have that. And then also again, document. Because they can use, that was also my point on here was that while it says police department, the SLC mobile app goes directly to the HEART team, the homeless engagement and response team. These are people that no matter what you think of the police, like these are good, caring, thoughtful people that are specially hired for handling our homeless problem. And they're very compassionate and understanding about things. So getting them the data makes me hopeful that it would be used in a productive way.
Okay, great. And then what's the chat team?
The chat team. So this is a new organization. It's come out of the fire department. It's a community health and access team. I was given by accident the wrong phone number the other night, so I called. It turned out it was the firefighter's phone number. This is the correct phone number.
Thank you.
But because I called the wrong phone number, they put me in touch with the social worker after hours when they probably shouldn't have, because they were like, they wanted to ask like, who's giving out this number? So,
Oh, dang it.
so I got the right one, and I got the email address to contact them as well. When I talked with the social worker, she got somebody out here to give blankets to somebody who needed blankets. Had they had a homeless shelter opening, they would have gone into a shelter if he wanted to. They gave him, a thing of Narcan. They gave him food.
Right.
I was able to know it because he left the garbage of the Narcan package on the ground, and he left all of his half-eaten food on the ground that I cleaned up the next morning. So,
That's how that goes for sure.
but it was like, I was moved to see, the city actually treating somebody, with kindness and respect.
Great. Love that. I love the fire department.
Also, they said that the next morning they were gonna have somebody come out and, follow up with him to hopefully get him some follow-up services. He only stayed there for a couple hours. And then, when they showed up in the morning, I think the response that we got was 3 cop cars, the gigantic ladder truck, and an ambulance. They rolled the gurney out from the ambulance, went looking all around on the parking garage. They couldn't find him, so
Oh, that was the other day?
I think it was because of that.
Interesting. Okay.
Which, then I talked with the
I was
fire department at the council meeting last night, and
Wondering about that.
sometimes the messages, from dispatch, things get mixed up. Okay.
okay. All right.
But also weird that we get like a mixture of that, like heartwarming with the, you gotta be kidding.
Right. Kind of all over the place, not so predictable, the response, but
But we're
we
working.
persist, yeah. Cool. Are there any other like items of business anybody wants to come up with at this time or concerned?
Don't think so.
I have a couple questions based on stuff I heard.
Yeah.
I heard you guys say there's a church moving in. What's with that? I thought I heard you say somebody's building a church, right?
I think he was referencing the church that's on Second East and
Okay.
Second South that does the warm-ups on the Code Blue night.
Okay, and then the other thing was, so we have a security guard across the street now?
No, that's over on this side.
Oh,
The
Third
east
East.
side of Third
oh,
East.
okay.
Mhm. We
Yeah,
don't
and
have
if
one
you'd
yet.
like to volunteer, and they've got all kinds of volunteer positions too, with it being at St. Mark's, it's a little bit easier than having to go the other side. But if we have a time when it gets below 25 degrees, that's when they'll start allowing people in for,
Movie night.
movie night is what they call it, to allow people to stay warm when it gets so cold that people might die.
Right.
And so if you want to volunteer for that, they've got all different kinds of volunteers that are needed. Like I said, I've done it before. I ended up biting off more than I could chew and got a little traumatized by more poop action that night, but
It's always poop.
it's always poop.
Uh,
But you don't have to do that. Like, they've got everything from just checking codes or checking names or, being at the door and just keeping track of how many people are going in and out.
Right.
But they need a lot of volunteers. It takes a lot to put on that kind of a thing, especially when it's like at 12 hours through the middle of the night.
Right.
So I encourage everybody to do that too.
Especially if you're
If it
night
should
out.
get cold enough.
Right.
What are you gonna do with this sign-in sheet?
Right now, we'll just keep a record of this. It's kind of just been
I think we should send a group text to everyone so we have it. So
okay.
each of us have it.
Okay, yeah. So anybody in the group can text the whole group at any point.
Yes.
Okay, and then just also please don't abuse it, anyone.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
Does
don't need to
everybody
see a
agree with
picture
that, or
or
is that a
talk.
bad?
I'm okay with that.
No, and the thing about group text too is they can get big and very annoying, so if you, are responding to maybe a certain person
Yeah,
after
Good
the
individual.
group, you just
Yeah.
go to their number instead of
right.
ding, ding, ding.
Right,
ding.
that's the
You
problem.
know,
It's
you
easy
know.
for it to go out of control. Also, it's not, a place to talk about what's going on in the neighborhood. It's a place specifically for us to have high attention towards criminal activity in the moment.
Or invitation for field trip.
No, I think the invitation for field trip would be something that we would
Email.
Email.
that we would
Okay.
email and probably plan for, like, it wouldn't
Fair.
be like, we have to have a field trip right now.
I think we should
Okay.
do it for the next meeting though,
Another field trip?
or a field trip.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm down.
Yes. Field
What
trip,
do you guys
field
got?
trip, field trip. My
Okay,
God.
so yeah,
When it's not raining.
right,
Yeah.
right. Well, you know, that's the nice thing about the weather here. We won't have rain for too long, and then we'll have one sunny day.
Can I ask you guys a question? Is that okay?
Great. What was that?
Can I ask a question really quick?
Yes, what's up?
So last time we were talking about, befriending people in some of the problem apartment buildings, getting inside, getting pictures of, health code violations, things like that, to get it cleaned up. Is that something you guys still wanted to do, or is that something that someone did?
Yeah,
between-
that is something that we've been working on, and even like Darren lives in one of those buildings that is problematic. And like Darren was pointing out that when it comes to like those health code violations, that they're very aware of exactly what they can and can't get away with. Like there are things that might look bad, but it's not a health violation, and they'll let that go. Or if it's a smoke detector starts not working, they're on it. They get that smoke detector replaced and fixed. So there's a challenge in that regard, but that's also something that we'll continue to work on as well, because I imagine that we can be more diligent than people that don't care.
Yeah, I think it would be good. I know the landlords were trying to sell the place last year, and they didn't sell it and they took it off the market. It would be good to pressure them to sell it into hands that would take care of the place better.
Yes, absolutely. I actually called a few different investment people hoping to be able to pull something like that together, because I was like, I think you could offer just a little bit below that 17 million and it would totally be workable. But also 17 million was a little high for just square footage.
By the whole block, that would be really good.
Yeah, all 4 buildings for 17 million. That's what it was listed at.
Interesting.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, just as a reminder, if anyone wants help, like knowing, federal law, state law, city law, county law on what's allowed with LIHTC housing, I learned all that through my work with River Rock Apartments, so I'm happy to help out as needed.
Thank you, Austin. You're the
So you
best.
can turn it up a little bit there.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
All right, now you can scream at us, Austin.
Thank you, Austin.
Yeah, I was also just like looking at that Normandy one, and like they're like, if you have to buy the Chateau Normandy and the gorgeous house that's next to it, and I don't even know what the third house is, but it could be anything, and then you split those up into 3 separate properties, like you just need like an LLC to come in and buy them together because they want it to be as one sale.
Mm-hmm.
And God, I did like those. It almost makes me want to be a property developer, because it seems like such a shame.
Just need to know. I mean,
Right.
people are constantly asking us at the Hollywood if we'll sell. Don't you get that?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Huh.
But that's the thing,
Maybe
is
we
like,
could
we've already
direct
gone
them
through that whole
east.
condo thing. Also, Austin, you were talking about that there was some probable changing laws with regards to homeowner associations to make condos easier to get set up.
Yeah, you'd want to talk to Jen Plum. I hear that she is she's leading some efforts in the state legislature to ease up on construction defect liability, so that it's easier for developers to build condos. Because right now they're just building apartments because of some state laws that are in place.
Huh.
So yeah, Jen Plum's our senator over this area, and because we're the densest area in the state and one of the very few areas where stacked flat condo buildings can and should be built, she's been in those conversations. So you could ask her about it maybe after the legislative session when she's less busy.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do that for sure.
Good
And
to
I
know.
really like the idea too of, we live in the Hollywood condos, which I don't know if you're familiar. It's like 1908, and then they were changed into condos.
Yeah.
And like even like that Chateau Normandy might be a good candidate for it to be turned into condos. But
Yeah.
Building new stuff is all shiny and great, and I understand that there's a market for that. But man, I really would love more, even for the properties down here on 3rd East. Those could be condos. They're beautiful buildings.
Way better than throwing the whole building in the landfill too.
Right. Which is also, because of community pressure, that's why we got the old telecom building that's
Yeah.
over there with no windows, right? That's why that
University.
building is still gonna be there. They're not tearing it down. They're gonna build apartments on top of it.
Are they?
Yeah. That's,
Wait, you're talking about at Second East, Second South?
yes,
Quest.
yeah, the
So
old,
just so
Oh.
you know, I know the developer that bought it and that they will be tearing it down, unfortunately.
Oh, fuck.
They're gonna do 2 tower residential buildings, glass, steel, concrete, really tall.
what happened to the revised plan for them keeping it?
That developer sold it.
Oh,
Is it, Austin, is it gonna be condos or apartments? Do you know?
They told me they haven't decided, which is actually good because 99% of them will just do apartments.
right. When
So
we were
we'll
gonna get that other, what was the name of that other developer down there by Fifth South? Or, sorry, Seventh South?
I don't know which one you're talking about.
The Ivory development where we,
Oh, the Ivory, yeah. And
talked
just
about doing some homes for sale instead of all rental.
yeah, if you're interested, the developer that bought that second communications building is called Dart Interests. They're based out of Texas, and they have a local team here that bought that and looking to buy something in Granary and then some stuff in Park City too. And they do a good job.
Really?
Quality stuff.
I trust you when you say that, Austin.
But yeah, they're a really smart and well-funded team. I'll write down the company name in the chat if you're interested.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Anything else anybody wants to discuss before we
Nope.
call
Would you guys like to schedule a field trip right now? Figure out where we're gonna go and actually put a pin in it so we can look forward to that, or do you guys want to come back to that in a minute?
Sure. What day of the week you guys think first, like a weekend or an evening or what? The weekday evening? What's the best for everybody?
I think if we do the weekend, I think people are more available. Maybe availability is the wrong word.
Doesn't matter to me.
Okay. I think on the weekend, because then it's easier to do it during daylight hours when it's easier to see everything. So if we want to do it like, Saturday or Sunday at 2:00, I'd be.
it? I think it makes us seem less creepy too.
Okay.
Like if we're not
I'm
all lurking out
I
at
should
night.
always try to reduce my creep factor.
I mean, same note too, babe. I'm also a creep. What about Saturday the 17th? Okay,
So,
well, maybe around
I was
2
thinking
o'clock.
like in 2 days from now, Saturday.
If it's.
You wanna do the
what's weather
10th?
like?
Yeah, look at weather.
Gina, you're so smart. I love these considerations you're bringing up.
I gotta take my dogs out to walk them every couple hours, so yeah. Saturday says mostly sunny and 53 degrees.
Which is so weird because mine says 35,
Are you looking at the low or the high?
the high.
Oh, for Saturday?
And that's just reversing the let.
Oh, this is the
Oh,
pro-
sorry, I'm looking at Las Vegas.
Ah,
Like, dang, that's
For the
so
Super Bowl.
nice.
Super Bowl is this
Oh,
weekend.
oh, that's true.
Oh, so that counts.
Right.
for
So the
sure.
real temperature is what?
35, I think is the
Yeah, I
high.
get that.
Okay, we'll just do the week after that then. That was what you were saying before?
The following Saturday is supposed to be 48 of a high, though. Saturday, the 17th,
Okay.
which sounds kind of nice. What time do we think would be a good time for everyone?
Like I say, just early enough so that we're not gonna lose sunlight.
Like 3 o'clock?
Sure. Sound good, everybody?
Okay.
Okay, so Saturday, the 17th at 3 o'clock, we're gonna do a family field trip.
And
It's
is
also
there some
GAF field trip.
Yeah.
A GAF field
GAF.
trip.
FFT? GAFFT.
Okay, I love
Is there
it.
any particular area that we want to go? Is this a trash picking field trip?
Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
should take, I mean, if we're gonna be out and about anyway,
Okay.
let's bring the trash cleaner uppers for
If
sure.
anybody like doesn't have trash picking up stuff or doesn't have time to get it once, then let me know and I'll make sure to get some extra trash picking
3
stuff.
PM, you said?
Yep. Cool, I love getting
And
things
meet-
off the
meet
to-do
here.
list. Yep, we can meet right here.
Okay, and then we'll just go wherever we feel like at that
Yeah.
moment. Okay,
Have a plan.
okay.
Great.
Well, that's very exciting.
I love a field trip.
You're invited too. Everybody online?
Well, yeah, I'll share it with Central City Neighborhood Council leadership.
Cool.
Thank you. Okay, gang,
With that-
great meeting. I love it. Thanks for giving us up together. I appreciate that so much.
Well, thanks for letting us use your facility too.
You know,
Yes, thank you.
I like
Pleasure.
that, GAFT, yeah.
there we are, gaff tapers. That's what we're doing, like a
Together.
stage crew.
Thing.
You guys are awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Austin, if you're still there.
And
gonna
shortly
click
after
end.
this, I will send a group email and a group text so that